Snapchat, most kids love it, most parents hate it. It's a very popular social media tool around at the moment, has a lot of competition. It boomed during COVID lockdown period in terms of stock price action, and since things head more towards normality, it really is struggling, giving back most of those gains. So where could it be heading next in terms of stock price action? Well, I'm going to take a look at the technical analysis and throw in a few trade ideas for you as well. So with that, let's get on with it. Now, the weekly line chart doesn't make for good reading. We can see that COVID gain through the early part of 2020 up until the sort of fall of 21. Nearly 1,500% of gain there in stock price terms, and since then it's fallen over 80% down to more recent lows not seen since basically when the COVID hit us back in 2020. Now, in terms of price action, we can see that yellow box there around a 38.2% line, around about $35. Bit of congestion there, not a lot of volume there, and the price fell to where most of the volume has been over its life, between $20 and about $5. Another interesting line is that 61.8% line, around $53 to $55, where there's a lot of price action and noise. Again, not a lot of volume, and we can see that really was a point where the downtrend really kicked in towards the end of 2021. If you are bullish of Snapchat, then the 4-line break chart gets you in with the reversals, 22 spot 85 and 24 spot 80. Potential short term weighs in to the upside. So the daily hike and ASHI then are signals at the bottom, both bearish. Volatility, very interesting, spiking up now. Normally does it around earnings, but earnings are a long way off. We can see why that spiked with that down volume big move day just about 5 days ago, and it's staying up around 300% per annum. So a really volatile stock, and that will make it hard to trade this stock for options. And price direction now, heading on to the price has actually moved below the long-term probability box. So it's actually showing 0. So until it goes back into that price and resets, then there's nothing there to talk about at the moment. Price is sort of stabilising around the institutional power zones, which is a good sign. Bit of support there maybe, but the trend, the red shaded area, still bearish, and we've got a sell signal still in play from our 2 pink line box breakout setup. So all round pretty bearish picture at the moment. And then into the Req'd charts, well, I've used a $1 block size for some faster, shorter term action. Our signals, well, the trend at the bottom there, DMI, that's bearish. But our 2 shorter term signals starting to warm up to the upside, so I'll call that neutral overall. And then onto the price, trend is down, and that's where the Fibonacci levels have been developed from. We've actually still got a sell signal with the 2 pink box breakout there, and heading back to those Fibonacci numbers to the downside. Well, it's from here till, like I said in the introduction, Oblivion 0. If it breaks down below 12.5 or 12 area to the upside, well, really it's going to struggle to push on upwards, but maybe $40, $39-$40, that's 61.8% Fibonacci line, where there's a lot of price noise over the last few months, and then mid-50s, and if it can turn itself around, reinvent itself, do whatever it has to do, then $80-$85 will be what it's looking at. To me, this trade is all about whether you think it can turn itself around back to the upside. So I've dived into the first trade options play simulator. I've actually put in that I was bullish of Snapchat and come up with 3 ideas for you. And the first one is If you are marginally bullish, want to make some income, it's not going to be much. I've put $1,000 into this hypothetical example. You're only going to make $17 with a 8-10 put spread trade there, an income one. And in the middle, if you think they can turn themselves around, this is probably the best of the examples. A longer term September expiry 26 strike, and the strike just above that price action with enough time for it to break through and maybe make you some money. And if we play with the simulator, we can sort of see the potential turns. It's got to move, you know, a fair way to then start making your money though. So, but once it does, you know, your $36 cost for that, you can be looking at, you know, if it gets $29, which it wasn't, you know, that far away from just, you know, a month or so ago. That's a $289 profit and an 800% return. And our last trade example here, a shorter term July 14-19 strike, call vertical spread, cost $159, maybe a bit safer than the call, a bit more costly. Max risk $159, max reward $341. And again, if it can, you know, get on up in terms of price, remember that's, you know, capped lock side of $341, which isn't bad. But like I said, 3 ideas. Remember, they're just ideas, and like I said, I've based these on a Snapchat recovery, but at the moment, you know, it's not looking very good for the company. So score for Snapchat then, well, it's bearish based purely on the technical analysis at this moment in time. Heikin-Ashi, Renko both bearish. If you are bullish, then a couple of numbers in the top right hand side for you for the 4-line break chart setup. Probability power score, as we saw, it's under that range 0 to 100%, so no price set there. Although you could say if it does move up a bit, you know, you've got very strong up percentage probability trade there. But those variables, trends still red. Support and resistance around that green institutional power zones, very interesting. That was one of the glimmers of hope that I saw in the technicals there. In terms of targets, 1.31, 2.07 to 1, and 1.33 and 1.83 to 1 to the downside, and they're so low really because of that mega volatility, 300%. You're going to have wide stops, you're going to get taken out. But overall, a bearish score for Snapchat. It really is looking like a dire situation at the moment for Snapchat. Now, there's a lot of competition out there. The fundamentals aren't great at the moment, and I don't know what, you know, magic trick they've got up their sleeve to dig themselves out of this hole. Maybe they will be heading to Oblivion. Maybe they'll get, you know, brought out and their IP integrated into something new. Who knows? But based on the technical analysis right at this moment, it's not looking at a great picture. So why don't you let me know in those comments below where you think they're heading next. Up, down, sideways. Love to hear from you. And if you've liked today's video, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell buttons. And all that's left for me to say is thanks for watching. Good luck with the trading. And I'll see you in the next video.